So don't flee, this is spoiler free. So I just got back from watching Star Trek Beyond, and I will admit at the beginning I was kind of worried because I found out that the director for the Fast and Furious was directing this movie, and I was a little hesitant because I don't like those movies, but it is important to understand that he was in charge of the visuals. He did not necessarily write the stories to Fast and Furious, so I tried to keep that in mind when I watched this movie. And it kind of shows because the visuals are clearly his. He's very good at showing action shots, and it's presented in this movie. So it does not necessarily have the J.J. Abrams touch to this movie, but it does feel like a Star Trek movie. For sure, 100%. I'm not gonna go into details about the story because I feel just talking about any little thing about the story would be a spoiler, but it is pretty good, you know. It honestly feels like an episode of Star Trek, like the old one, with high-budget special effects. Actually, in a way, it kind of feels like a Next Generation episode, like in a weird way, because there's like new aliens, and the dynamic with the characters isn't necessarily there like it was in the past Star Trek movies, but you know, it's very action-based. The characters are still there. There's still character moments, don't get me wrong. It's just, I feel like there was more in the other Star Trek movies, but at the same time, that's why it feels like an episode, because you don't necessarily have to bring up character dynamics because they were already established before this movie. So the plot honestly feels like a long episode of Star Trek. Like, they took the show, they're like, okay, let's make a movie out of it. It feels like a movie Star Trek, like the old ones. And it's good because of that. The story is, it's original, it's not necessarily like the last one, Into Darkness, where they just randomly popped up Khan for no reason. There's new characters, there's new villains, you know. It's very different, but it feels like a Star Trek villain. It feels like something new and interesting would come up for that episode, you know? It feels like an episode in this long series that is 208. It doesn't feel like, oh, this is a movie and of course there's gonna be another one, let's tease that at the end. No, it feels like an episode, like it should be, because that's how they originally were presented. Now, if you guys are big Trekkie fans and you were following the progression of this movie and the news that came up about Sulu's character being gay, at first I was kind of with George Takei because he brought up the point that this is not how Gene intended it. This is not how the character was supposed to be. He said, why didn't you do this with another character that is completely new? And I kind of get what he's saying, which is kind of interesting because he is gay, but I think there's more value in that because he is gay. He's not just some homophobe spouting his like, oh, you're changing Star Trek. No, he's saying you're changing the character. That's not how he was supposed to be. So at first I was kind of with him on that, but it's very subtle. It's not gonna bug you in the movie if it does, so I kind of forgive it. But at the same time, I do see his point, you know, this is not how Sulu was supposed to be, and maybe they should have kept it, but I mean, I am for giving equality in this, and if they want a homosexual character in it, fine, make it Sulu. You know, I'm not gonna complain about that, to be honest. I just wanted to bring it up because I know a lot of people might have issues with that if they were like George Takei and thought that was kind of insulting to Gene, but it's not done in an insulting way, guys. It's an alternate universe, which is also why I kind of forgive it, but at the same time, the logic is you're supposed to be born this way. So I don't know, maybe the original Sulu was gay, but he never came out with it. I don't know, you know, like, it's just the way this movie is, and You have to take it or leave it. It's really not annoying in any way. It's not like in your face, like, oh, look, he's gay, look, we believe in equality, huh, PC people? Look, it's really not. It's just, oh, this character happens to be gay. Okay, I can live with that, so, yeah. So, there are some nostalgic hints to the original series, but it's more to the original movie series, which I kind of give them props for because these are movies, they're not episodes. And it kind of hits you in the feels, you know, because I grew up watching Next Generation and the Star Trek movies, so like, when you have those nods and they're not like annoying nods like the Khan character in Into Darkness, it's like, it's appropriate nods, it just hits you in the feels. You're just like, oh, okay, you know, like, I liked it. It's good. So if you liked the other Star Trek movies, if you're a fan of the originals and you're used to watching them as episodes, you will like this movie. Even if you're a casual moviegoer, didn't really watch, you know, the other Star Trek movies or shows, you will like it, you know? There's some action in it for you, there's some humor in it, and these characters are so well established, it's like, it's basically written for itself, you know? And Simon Pegg is one of the writers for it, and you can tell. If you watch some of his shows, you can tell. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Take care.